Go ahead and top off the tractor before we get started. The old mini truck fuel truck. Man, my boys have been in here messing with everything. That's what they're supposed to do. I got this mini truck about a year and a half ago, I guess now. I imported it directly from Japan. I decided to put my transfer tank in the back of it because it works great. Moving around out here. Let me get my tractor keys. Moving around out here and being able to get to the equipment wherever it is. Topped off the Kubota M4-071 the other day. I don't know how much fuel I have left in the tank. Sucking a little bit of air over there. Let's see. Trying to top it off. I think I had a quarter of a tank whenever I was on it yesterday. I meant to fill it up from my big tank and I was just running out of time. I think that's just part of it. Well, I think that's going to be it for now. To get this tank filled back up so it's ready to go when I need it. Like right now. Move mini truck back out of the way. Don't want to run into it. So as you see, this is a right-hand drive vehicle. And it's a manual. Took a little bit of getting used to, but oh man, this is a perfect farm and working truck. I've used it for a lot of different tasks. It's been very useful. I actually registered this truck as a regular pickup truck so I can drive it on the road. And I have a little bit back and forth to my house on back roads. It's not a speed demon by no means. But it's a Daihatsu Hi-Jet. I can do more of a video on it later. It does have horsepower. All right, let's stay focused. like help is on the way. Uh-oh. She sees me coming. She stopped. Pull up. Tell her what the plan is. This is what we're going to be seeding. All this about a little under 10 acres, but I'm also going to throw out on the high line, which is kind of overgrown with more weeds right now. Weeds and maybe some wheat that I planted year before last. I don't remember if I planted any in the fall or not, just to hold everything together. Pulling up right now to what I call the house 10 acres, and it's 10 acres that we first bought, and this is where we're going to be building the barnuminium, actually where the spreader is sitting right now. Hey, what are y'all doing? Did you come to help? Charlie man? And mama?
Bring your boots.
Yeah, I do need my boots. I'm not packing up for working this morning. I got my work clothes, but I forgot my boots. I'm wearing my R.L. Watsons. Not for farm work. Got my tried and true Georgia boots. Have to put them on. All right, let's get her set up. See if I can do this with one hand. Bringing the wheel down. Engage those drive belts. Put that back in. All right, drive belts look good. Open this gate up. Set about 1.2 to 1. Yeah, I guess that's about it. ryegrass has gotten pretty tall. Some of it's up to the top of my loader arms there. I've been waiting to cut it after I seed and fertilize the field. The plan is to spread this seed out, and then I'm going to bush hog everything, cut it down, and let the ryegrass lay on top of the seed and fertilizer as kind of like, hey, got some rain coming in a couple days, and help hold the moisture on the ground. Hopefully help keep the seed from washing too much. I think this ryegrass turned out really pretty, especially when it was really bright green, looking out across the field, watching it blow in the wind. I can't wait to eventually have all this well established in pasture. And looking out off our back porch of the barn dough, looking at a pretty pasture. So before we bought this land, I really didn't have any experience. Well, I didn't have any experience with operating equipment or tractors. I'd borrowed a smaller tractor before from a friend to do a little bit of bush hogging and spread a little bit of rock, but that was only a couple of times. So we bought this. We actually bought the 10 acres. Called the house 10. We bought that first for the man that owned it, and he was having all of this logged, and my friend that's a neighbor to the property told me about him logging it, so I met with him to save the 10 acres so that we could cut out the trees how we wanted it for the house area. So we did that, and a little while later, I don't know, 6-7 months later, we decided that we wanted to try to buy a little bit more from him, actually 10 more from him, to have a small pasture for a horse. We had a horse at the time. Well, I met with him, and he wanted me to buy the rest of it, and so we shook hands right then and on a price, and I got to work on it. I was going into the meeting with him, and after talking with my wife about buying 10 acres, and I had to call her when we left and told her that I was buying 46 more acres. So right now we've got a total of 46 acres out here. No, 56 acres. 46 was logged, so all this was tree stumps and just tree trash left behind from loggers. And we got to work on clearing it at the time. So I think we closed on our land at the end of October 2020, maybe November. And I bought my first tractor, the Kubota M4-071, I think within a week or 2 weeks of it. Once I saw that the deal was everything was gonna go through on buying the 10 acres, I got to work with a Kubota dealer and to buy that tractor. And at the time, I only expected to have 10 acres, so I bought the smaller or mid-size compact L3301, and it was a great tractor, and it still is a great tractor. I've kept it, but I bought it with a grapple land plane because I knew I'd have a gravel driveway. I think I bought a box blade with it, rake, landscape rake, and a grapple for the front. Of course, it came with a bucket, and then pallet forks. So I had my 40-foot gooseneck loaded down, traveling home from the dealer. And I actually bought it in Texas at a dealer. A friend of mine has told me about that dealership and salesman. And my local dealership, they're great, but they just didn't have the tractor that I wanted at the time. So that's how I ended up with that. And then fast forward to after we bought this, I started working on it with that small tractor, and oh man, it was slow. And a wonderful friend of mine let me use some of his heavy equipment. Man, he dropped off a big Volvo 160 and a K650 dozer, and man, I had it for several months, and I got so much work done. I wouldn't be as far along as I am with the land today if it wasn't for that great friend of mine. So I really appreciate him. He had seen a picture I'd posted on Facebook of me burning a pile with my little 33 horse tractor, and he asked if I was still working on it. He asked me if he was leaving church. And I said, yeah, slowly but surely. He said, well, I'll get my guys to come drop off the excavator out there to you, help you speed it up. He did, and man, it made a world of difference. And I'd never operated an excavator, and the day that he dropped it off, he unloaded it from the trailer, and he was telling me bye, and I said, well, can you show me how to operate it? And so I hopped in, and he started telling me, and he kind of stopped. He said, well, you'll figure it out. So, but I did. Man, it was a lot of fun, a lot of work, but it was great. So I used that to pretty much clear all this 10 acres and took down a lot of trees in the house area that I was wanting down. But anyway, I ended up last year buying, I saw the need for working the land, and I knew that I would eventually need a larger tractor. And one day I was bush hogging, and man, I've got bad sinuses anyway, but it was such a dust storm. I can deal with the heat, but I was just in the dust and breathing it all in, and I think I talked myself then into looking for a cab tractor that I wanted, a long-term tractor that would be kind of the last tractor I would need, that would be able to do anything that I wanted as far as pulling implements, planting. You know, if I want to do some future, light farming, a little bit of hobby farming. And so I got to work and started researching and came across this Kubota. And I bought it from the same dealership in Texas that I bought my smaller one. But so this is a Kubota M4-071 Deluxe, I think is the model number. I'll make sure I put the right one in the description below. And just by the way, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of people that operate equipment. Let's Dig 18, Outdoors with the Morgans, Tractor Time with Tim, Hometown Acres. There's a lot more than that. Arms Family Homestead. But anyway, I really like whenever people put in their videos what exact equipment that they're operating. It's helped me whenever I'm watching them, and I love watching. I can spend a lot of time watching people operate equipment, but I like to know exactly what it is they're working with. And I thought it was really neat that the dozer that I just bought, which is a Caterpillar D6C. Of course, whenever I was researching it, I went to YouTube to look for YouTube videos and see what other people were doing with theirs, and found that Let's Dig 18 had that exact dozer, and so it's pretty neat that I've ended up with the same dozer of somebody that I follow on YouTube. But I ended up with this larger tractor. After I got it, I immediately bought an 8-foot pull behind disc and a 12-foot bushwhacker brush cutter. I always just call it a bush hog. I know that's a brand name, but it's kind of like a Kleenex. And then I bought a bigger land plane for this tractor. And then recently I bought a 7-foot hydraulic grater blade for it. And then I wanted another bush hog for it. I bought a 7-foot bushwhacker bush hog for it. I was looking at the 8-foot, but man, it really jumps up the price on the 8-foot because it adds the extra spindle, gearbox, and all that. So I went with the 7-foot. So the plan is, after I finish this, I think I'll be done seeding in no time. Seed this, and I'll see the Highline. The plan is to jump on, well, hook up to my 12-foot batwing bushwhacker and get started on cutting some of this down. Autumn was sitting down at the barn and saw that I got stuck, so she rode down to video it. I think we both thought that it was going to be more of an ordeal than it was. Luckily, I was able to push myself out with the front loader and get out. The ground was a little bit softer there than what it looked like, but luckily I was able to get out. Thanks for watching, and please like, subscribe, and comment below. We'll see you in the next video.